The county coroner revealed information about the victims that could shed some more light on the Moscow murders.
And how WSU students are feeling living just minutes away, next on Murrow News 8.
From the Northwest Public Broadcasting Studios on the campus of Washington State University, this is Murrow News 8.
Good evening, I'm Catherine Rowley.
And I'm Jonah Oakleaf. Welcome to Murrow News 8.
Last night, we learned new information regarding the two roommates of the four murdered University of Idaho students. Police confirmed that they were in the home at the time of the attack and that they were home when the bodies were found. Police can also confirm that they have not ruled anyone out as a suspect, but they do not have anyone. Police have also confirmed that the roommates did not call 911. They have not disclosed who made that 911 call and are not going to release that information at this time. As of right now, police are looking for a Rambo-style knife that they believe was used in the murders. The coroner did release the autopsy report, but did not go into detail about the specifics of the murder. Kathy Mabott, the Latah County coroner, disclosed in an interview with News Nation that all victims were stabbed multiple times, with multiple of them having a fatal wound to the upper body area or chest. According to Xana Canoodle's father, Jeffrey Canoodle, Xana had defensive wounds on her body, and it appears that she did put up a fight. We are monitoring any new details that could be coming out. As of right now, police are asking the public to be vigilant and extra aware of their surroundings and take personal extra safety precaution. If you have extra doorbell footage that could be helpful, you are encouraged to turn that in to the Moscow Police Department to try and establish some type of timeline that led up to these murders.
With the ongoing investigation in Moscow, we sent our reporter Derek Joseph to the scene of the homicides. Let's hear what he heard today. Derek?
Thank you. I'm standing here right outside the building where the four homicides in Moscow happened. There hasn't been any new information disclosed to us except for what the coroner said in an interview with News Nation this morning. She said that the victims were murdered with a knife and that the victims were most likely in bed when this happened. But that's the only new information, as there's still a heavy police presence here and forensics team still sweeping this apartment building as well. We'll hopefully know more, but the information of the evidence that they're finding still isn't being disclosed to us. Back to you at the desk.
Here's a recap of the Moscow homicides. On Sunday, 4 University of Idaho students were found dead at a house near the University of Idaho campus. Authorities say they responded to a call about an unconscious individual. When arriving to the home, 3 women and 1 male were found dead inside. On Monday, the victims were identified as Ethan Chapin, Madison Mogan, Xana Canoodle, and Kaylee Conclaves. All were students at the University of Idaho. At a press conference on Wednesday at the University of Idaho, the president, Scott Green, had this to say.
Their loss has been devastating, and they were bright lights in our community and are deeply missed and remain in our thoughts and our prayers. We've been working with Moscow police since we were notified on Sunday of the crime. We've helped when asked and continually pushed for information whenever possible, knowing that we cannot interfere with the important work and good investigations that are occurring. We just want justice for these victims.
On Thursday, the Latah County coroner mentioned autopsies performed by the 4 bodies showed that they were all stabbed to death. A suspect has not been identified and the weapon has not yet been found. Officials say that they are looking for a military-style Vietnam knife. If anyone has any tips on where you can buy that knife in Moscow, call the number 883-7180. To keep you updated about the latest in this ongoing investigation. News from the homicides. Murrow News 8 reporter Noah Bolter is asking community members how they're dealing with the news. Noah, how's the community responding?
Yeah, I'm at the front of Idaho's campus right now, where the community is coming together to pay respects to the victims.
I start looking at news articles, and I start reading and I just have to stop. Like, I can't do it.
A University of Idaho student on how she is struggling to take in the news. She left town on a moment's notice and started her Thanksgiving break a week early because the environment that she has grown to love has changed.
The grief, the just such heavy grief that is happening in Moscow right now, and I'm sure in Pullman too.
Alelia wasn't the only student to leave town when she heard the news. One student tells me that her friend's mom drove roughly 7 hours round trip to pick up her daughter.
Her mom didn't feel safe with her on campus.
April says that when she first came to U of I, the environment was positive and welcoming. Since the news, that hasn't been the same.
It was very odd walking around campus this morning because the atmosphere just completely changed.
Both students at the University of Idaho and at next door neighbor Washington State tell me that life on campus hasn't been the same. One WSU student who I spoke to says even though she has only been to Moscow a handful of times, seeing their pain makes her sympathetic.
Not knowing who hurt their kids, I'm more upset for the families.
Everyone who I spoke to expressed interest in attending a candlelight vigil put on by the school. Another thing that they all agreed on.
I do kind of wish a little bit more information was available.
The university is moving the vigil until the week after Thanksgiving break for those that have already left town. I'm Noah Bolter, Murrow, News 8.
In light of the recent tragedy, University of Idaho is providing several options for students, faculty, and community members who are looking for support and counseling services. The Counseling Center has a wide range of counseling services, resources, and referrals, including walk-in services from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Zoom and in-person appointments, individual counseling and group counseling, as well as psychiatric services, and there is a 24-hour crisis support phone line available at 208-885-6716 by pressing 3.
The WSU Police Department sent out a statement to students in response to the Moscow homicides. The statement said they are adding extra patrols out on campus to ensure safety. Earlier today, we spoke with Police Chief Gary Jenkins about how he believes these procedures are working.
Well, I know there's a lot of concern and anxiety surrounding what has happened. We've gotten a lot of really good feedback since we announced that that's what we're going to be doing. I think it's helped kind of reassure students that we're here to help protect them. But we still understand that there's still going to be a certain level of concern.
With some students staying on campus for break, we sent our reporter Derek Joseph to get a gauge of student reactions. Derek?
I think the response has made me feel slightly less safe just because they haven't said anything about the killer or anything. So you don't know exactly what's happening, so you can't feel super safe or not safe, I guess, because you don't know what's happening.
Yeah, personally I feel safer here. I mean, I don't go out too much, but I do try to be cautious, especially in light of everything. But when I do go out, I do feel I think it's the light, especially out at night. It's very lit up, and then there's people all around, so it helps me feel safer.
During a time like this, it is important to take care of yourself and your mental health. WSU has several different mental health resources that it makes available to students. In addition to Cougar Health CAPS program, their crisis text line is also open, which you can access by texting HOME to 741714. Other mental health services can be found on the Cougar Health Services website. Here at Murrow News 8, we encourage anyone impacted by this event to please reach out and seek help. Up next, after the break, we'll take a look at the investigation to an update to midterm elections.
And why your wallet might suffer more after this Thanksgiving, a little more than last year's. Stay tuned on Murrow News 8.
You can achieve a lot using your imagination. I mean, I don't like to brag, but... Wait, who's that? And why is she all over these achievement awards? But with STEM, the sky's the limit. Shaboom! Use STEM to envision... Okay, I'm seeing it. Yeah. Invent...
Got any ideas?
I've got a few, actually. And create a better world.
Told you she's super smart.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at She Can STEM.
It's okay to be scared. You don't have to be so strong.
Strength is not optional. This is my mother, my purpose. Real muscle is lifting her spirits between bedpans and bad news from doctors that doubt her strength. Strength is buried in bills, managing meds, and swallowing those moments of, Mom, it's me, your daughter. Remember? My strength is super, but I'm still human, right?
Look who's here. There she is. Thanks for your patience.
How you feel?
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community, or call 1-877-333-5885.
Election season is over. Well, almost. Georgia is going off into a runoff election between Herschel Walker and Senator Raphael Warnock. As of right now, here's what the balance of power looks like. The House has been taken back by the Republicans, but it is unclear where the Senate lies. Kevin McCarthy has been nominated as Speaker of the House, but will not be confirmed until January if he is voted in.
With House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announcing that she is not running for another term, Hakeem Jeffries is expected to take her place. A liberal congressman from New York, Jeffries has held the position of chairman in the Democratic caucus since 2019, which has led expectations of him to be a stylistic contrast to Pelosi, as he's considered to be more reserved than the former speaker. I'm sure everyone has been paying attention to the rising gas prices, but Murrow News 8 reporter Grady Glover took a look at a different price increase that you can see here.
As inflation continues to sweep across the nation, gas prices aren't the only thing being affected. Grocery stores are seeing price increases across the board, and with holiday season coming around, some of these items are especially being hit hard. Friendsgivings have also been on the rise recently, but with these new price increases, some people, including WSU senior Eiler Anderson, are getting frustrated.
So last year, had Thanksgiving for about 7 or 8 people, cost me $80. This year, prices went up and probably spent around a little over 100.
These are just some of the Thanksgiving items that have increased drastically in price from last year until this November.
Now, at a store like Safeway in 2021, $25 would have gotten you an entire turkey. However, with inflation prices going up, this year, that's going to cost you an arm or a leg to get that same price.
I reached out to Safeway to get their take on the recent price hikes. However, they declined to speak on the matter. Inflation would be expected to affect both producers and consumers evenly. However, many producers are posting some of their best quarterly numbers ever, even in the face of all of this inflation. A New York Times article explained that while some companies are facing a 14% production cost increase, they're seeing more than 25% profit gains, making the price hikes well worth it for them. Some are choosing to cheaper alternatives like chicken for this year's Thanksgiving, while others are just biting the bullet on the cost.
Things are just definitely getting pricier, and it makes it hard to be able to put on events like that for all my friends.
In Pullman, Washington, Grady Glover, Murrow, News 8.
Good thing I won't be buying a turkey this year, but after the break, we'll tell you some more Thanksgiving break activities.
And Allison Martinez can tell you what to expect if you're skipping town this weekend and heading back to the west side. Next on Murrow News 8.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back. When you want to talk, I'm here.
After 20 years of being the region's only ice skating venue, the Palouse Ice Rink is preparing to open their doors at a new location. Albert James and photojournalist Alex Michael took a look at the new facility. Here's what it looks like.
First opened in 2001 here at the Latah County Fairgrounds. Initially envisioned as a temporary facility until a permanent one could be developed, the age of the giant tent structure is starting to show.
It wasn't supposed to last that long. It was very challenging having only one bathroom, no running water. The tent has holes in it. The structure's just outdated.
Visitors also noticed the building's shortcomings.
The ice was a little less than groomed, I would say.
But now, thanks to the generous donations of community members and organizations, the Palouse Ice Rink will soon open up here. And in a few weeks' time, this concrete floor will transform into an icy surface perfect for skaters. Much of those donations went toward last year's purchase of the old NRS warehouse on South Main Street, finally securing a permanent home for skating on the Palouse.
We're so glad that the community and other donors and funders have come through and really helped push to make this project a reality.
With a larger ice surface, a science education classroom, and actual bathrooms with running water, rink staff say the new facility provides an overall better experience for skaters.
It's completely different. It feels happier. It feels more welcoming.
While the rink is expected to open early next month, they still need help to build more locker rooms and bathrooms to host hockey tournaments and more skaters.
We could only finish phase 1 with the amount of funds, so we still are always continuing to fundraise.
In Moscow with photojournalist Alex Michael, Albert James, Murrow News 8.
The Washington State Patrol will be conducting emphasis patrols starting today and throughout November 26th at WSU. Students begin to travel for Thanksgiving break. District 4 troopers and Spokane, Whitman, and Adams counties will all be focusing on speeding violations and impaired drunk driving, with an emphasis on travelers heading home for winter break. We encourage those to pay attention to posted speed limits and be prepared for changing road conditions. Allison has some more information on what could be key to your drive home. Allison, how's the weather looking like on the roads?
By the look of the weather, your journey home for Thanksgiving is going to be pretty smooth. Luckily, we're going to be seeing some pretty moderate conditions throughout the rest of this weekend. We have clear skies with slight gusty winds, so the roads will remain bare and dry. Now, looking at Snoqualmie Pass, if you're heading to Seattle, you will be seeing a number of work zones between North Bend and Ellensburg. Because of this, you'll see some minor delays due to lane closures and other traffic revisions. We recommend that motorists slow down and obey all traffic control devices as you enter and exit through these work zones. Travel safe this weekend, Cougs. Now we're going to move and take a look at today's weather here in Pullman for all of you who are still sticking around. Today we have a high of 31 degrees. You heard that right. That is our high with a low of 19. It's going to be pretty sunny today, and those winds are going to be pretty moderate. As we move into tomorrow, those temperatures are going to increase just the tiniest bit. We will have that same consistent winds, and it's going to get a little bit cloudier tomorrow with a high of 35 and a low of 22. As we move, let's take a look across the state of Washington. Starting out on our west side in Olympia and Seattle, you're going to see your highest temperatures in the state. And as we move into central Washington and Yakima and Tri-Cities, those temperatures will drop down just a little bit. And over in Spokane and Pullman is going to be our lowest temperatures. And you'll also see those clouds rolling in over there as well. Now we're going to move into our 5-day forecast. I'll get out of the way so you guys can see the full spread for everything we have coming up through this week. I can tell you that those temperatures are going to increase little by little throughout the week for a high of 41 that will be on Tuesday, and that's going to be our highest temperature. We're keeping our fingers crossed that as we move into the rest of the days with the important festivities of Thanksgiving, and as we move into Apple Cup, those low 40 temperatures will stay pretty consistent, and it will be sunny as well. Tuesday will be the only day where you'll have any fluctuation. Tuesday it will be raining, but besides that, just little by little, high 30s into early 40s. Back to you guys at the desk.
Up next, we'll take a look at who football is matched against this weekend.
And we let you know your chances of seeing the Apple Cup next on Murrow News 8.
You can achieve a lot using your imagination. I mean, I don't like to brag, but... Wait, who's that? And why is she all over these achievement awards? But with STEM, the sky's the limit. Shaboom! Use STEM to envision... Okay, I'm seeing it. Yeah. Invent...
Got any ideas?
I've got a few, actually. And create a better world.
Told you she's super smart.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at She Can STEM.
It's okay to be scared. You don't have to be so strong.
Strength is not optional. This is my mother, my purpose. Real muscle is lifting her spirits between bedpans and bad news from doctors that doubt her strength. Strength is buried in bills, managing meds, and swallowing those moments of, Mom, it's me, your daughter. Remember? My strength is super, but I'm still human, right?
Look who's here. There she is. Thanks for your patience. Thank you so much.
How you feel?
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community, or call 1-877-333-5885.
The Cougs are heading to Arizona to face former quarterback Jaden DeLaura after a win against Arizona State University this past weekend. To nobody's surprise, Nakia Watson was the star of the show for the WSU offense. There's a reason I truly believe this man will be a draft pick in the NFL next year. He rushed for 116 yards on 20 carries and 3 touchdowns. Freshman Leighton Smithson, a wide receiver, also found the end zone on a dime from quarterback Cam Ward, who ended up finishing the game with 219 yards. It was a great game. The Cougs are traveling to Tucson this week to take on the Arizona Wildcats, but the first thing that Jake Dickert addressed in his press conference this week on Monday were the tragedies at the University of Virginia and the University of Idaho.
I'm going to leave with something here, guys. That's kind of weighing on our hearts and our minds. I just want to say our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone involved in a terrible tragedy at the University of Virginia. And just because they aren't athletes, sometimes they don't get the notoriety, but 4 young people passed away and our neighbors at the University of Idaho. Prayers out to them and their families. And, so there's a lot of people hurting in this world. Our thoughts and prayers as a program are with them. Just takes you back to why we're here.
The week after the University of Arizona game, the Apple Cup is in Pullman. And there's something different about it this year. Murrow News 8's Catherine Rowley has more on that.
WSU is getting ready to host its first Apple Cup in 4 years on November 26th in Martin Stadium. WSU was set to host the Apple Cup back in 2020, but it was canceled because of the pandemic. While the Apple Cup is usually sold out, this year the tickets for the game were gone within days after going on sale in October. With the game being sold out, Washington State University students and University of Washington students are struggling to find additional tickets.
At first we were bummed because there were no tickets available online, but my cousin's boyfriend's on the UW football team, so he was able to scramble us a ticket.
I looked last week, I was going to buy them, and they were gone. So my friend Samir had to go drive to Everett and buy 2 Apple Cup tickets that are in the stand from one of his friends for about $100. So, it's almost impossible to get these tickets.
Students aren't the only one preparing for the big game. Prices are rising as hotels and Airbnbs are filling up, and other businesses in the Pullman community are gearing up for the game. We went by and stopped to the Coug to see how they were preparing for Apple Cup.
We prep as much food and stuff as we can before the games. We all get ready, give ourselves our pep talks for what it's gonna look like for all the chaos. Apple Cup's a little bit different because the hostility between WSU and UW, we have to prepare a lot for fights and just general, a little bit more amped up than a normal football weekend.
One thing's for sure, this year's Apple Cup is going to be one of the biggest games for both schools. Reporting in Pullman with videographer Gary Dunn, I'm Catherine Rowley, Murrow News 8.
After a tough loss to Prairie View A&M, the men's basketball team is traveling to Cheney on Monday to face off against the Eastern Washington Eagles. Against Prairie View, TJ Bumba led the team with 16 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. Mohamed Gay had an uncharacteristic game with only 3 rebounds, 2 turnovers, and 4 points. On the women's side of the basketball, Charlize Ledger-Walker has led the team to a 3-0 start, dropping 24 against Prairie View A&M on Sunday in an 89-61 victory. They played today at 5 p.m. at the North Shore Showcase against the BYU, or as I like to call them, the worst Cougars down in Hawaii. Good luck today, Cougs, but not BYU. And the MLB awards have been announced, and to no one's surprise, Aaron Judge, the all-star from the Yankees, is the American League MVP. He hit 62 home runs this season, 131 RBIs, and was the obvious choice over Shohei Ohtani, which kind of hurts my heart. The American League Rookie of the Year, which was music to my ears and many people in Seattle, was Mariners sensation Julio Rodriguez. He led all rookies in home runs with 28 and joins Mike Trout as the only 2 players in MLB history at 25-plus home runs, 25 stolen bases, and an 800 OPS in their rookie season. These are 2 Hall of Famers we're talking about, folks. It's going to be a ridiculously fun time watching this guy grow and bring a World Series to Seattle.
Thank you, Aaron. Stay with us after the break.
We'll see you back on here on Murrow News 8.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back. When you want to talk, I'm here.
Just announced a week ago, designer Lazarni has actually just released theoretical plans for what is essentially a floating city, perfect for those Bond villain-esque people who want to put forth that image, I would say.
For sure. It's actually called Turtle City, so it's a really, really big ship in the shape of a turtle. Kind of cool. We'll kind of see how it goes. It's up for interpretation. I suggest you go look at it a little bit deeper. I saw it. I really like turtles, so if I could see a big turtle floating in the ocean, make me very happy.
Thanks for watching. If you missed anything in our newscast or any of our previous newscasts, you can always watch us on YouTube channel. More news can be found at nwpb.org/mn8. Thank you for watching.
And have a great Thanksgiving.